Hi my friends, welcome to my channel. This is Maggie. Today is Black and White Friday and we're going to be working in this black and white journal. I've got quite a bit to say about this here. Anyway, I do want to send some hugs, shout outs to some of my viewers. Nishta, I believe, this is such a beautiful name and I know I'm not saying it correctly, so please forgive me. Nishta, Thibaut 8129. Betty Ann, one of my dearest faithful subscribers and commenters. Pamela Allen Sanders and Carrie from the Paper Monkey. The message that Carrie sent me from the Paper Monkey was especially touching and appropriate. I had a kind of a bad day today, and I'll explain that in just a few minutes. But the things she wrote to me and encouraged me about were so timely to me, and I just want you to know how much I appreciated that, Carrie, and to the rest of you who left me such kind comments. I appreciate you as well. They mean so much. So thank you, and hugs and kisses and everything that goes along with that. So, like I said, today we're going to be working in this black and white journal. But before we actually do get started, I've had a kind of a rough day as far as this journal and YouTube and my video, not YouTube. It had nothing to do with YouTube. It was all about me and the difficulties I was having. So the first video I made this morning, I wanted to work in the journal and I needed to get my signature sewn in. But before I could do that, I wanted to, because it's a black and white journal, I wasn't really going to do too much about the white side, the stark white side that we all hate so much. Well, hate's a strong word, that we dislike so much. And but you know, I just couldn't let it go. So I decided I was going to stencil on these pages, the kind of decorative little pages. I was going to stencil in the back of, now I've done this before in another journal and it went just fine. But I think there was a couple of reasons why it went wrong this morning. One, I was using black ink and red ink. And I got my daubers kind of intermingled and at one point in time, I started having a little bit of a mess there, and I was just getting ink all over the place. And I wasn't all that thrilled with the outcome. You know, I was leaving splotches on the pages and these odd shapes like, you know, Swiss cheese, slices of molded Swiss cheese. So anyway, I wasn't happy with it. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to resort to plan B. And plan B was actually putting something on the back of them. So I looked into the black and white papers, digital ones, and I found a lovely set. It was only $1, I think. Let me tell you exactly what it was. Oh dear, Maggie, where is it? Okay, it was by DM Designs, and it was just black and white background, and there are how many of them were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different designs for $1, and I am really happy with these. I will link this shop in my description. Again, it's D like in David, M like in Margaret, Designs USA. And I want to take another look at her shop because I thought these backgrounds were really quite nice, and they were a real bargain. So this, when I first looked at this, I thought it was little polka dots, but on closer inspection, I discovered they're little triangles. So I put that on the back of all of these pages, and I like it a lot because you can still journal on it. There's plenty of room for journaling, and so that solved that problem. So I said, all right, I'm going to, my next big thing is I have to get these signatures sewn in. And I thought, how in the world, it's like, it was time to pay the piper, right? I had to deal with my decisions that I had made, and one of my decisions was making these fabric pages. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to sew through all of these. It wasn't the sewing through that was so much of a problem. If you've covered a journal with fabric, or if you've worked with fabric, then you know that when you punch a hole in it, unless it's a big tear, it's more than likely the fibers are going to come back together and your hole is going to close up. And each of these pages are 2 pieces of cotton plus 2 pieces of interfacing plus the fabric on the cover. So I thought this is not going to be easy to sew through all these. So I thought about maybe making like 3 holes, but I don't have one of those long arm hole punches like the crocodile. I have the one, you know, it's not the long arm reach, and I really enjoy that for putting in my eyelets. However, I would not use one of the other ones. There's no way I was going to buy one because I enjoy the one I have, and I would never use it that much. I haven't had any reason in the last year and a half or so to use one of those until today. And then I remembered that I had a punch, a hole punch, and I said, oh, I can use that and make my holes in these fabric pages. And I did that, and it did help tremendously, but even that, the holes closed up. So then I had to I had to just, and I put needles in all the holes to kind of hold the places, but that didn't really work. So I ended up just kind of manhandling the whole thing and getting the needle through where I wanted it to go. I did mark my holes with a pencil, so I had some idea, but I figured they would not get in there, you know, all that straight. And, well, I didn't do too bad of a job there. I had to use my little pliers to get my needle through it. But I did it. In the end, I did it. The only thing is I sewed them in upside down, which didn't really matter because you can go either way with the cover, but I wanted this cover right here because there was some glue that got on here and it caused the ink to run a little bit, and it looks dirty. But I'm gonna put a pocket down here, and I had intended for this to be the back, and I would put a pocket down here and then put a little embellishment of some sort up there. But had I done that, all my pages would have been upside down. So both of those attempts at making the video today was about an hour long, and they both were failures because I finally sewed my signatures in off camera, and you know, I'm gonna say it was meant to be the way it is and let it go at that. So we're going to try to put in some pockets and do some decorating. I don't know how far we'll get. I'm pretty tired. That wore me out. But I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay. So we're going to, I want to put the front and the back pockets in first. And I did put some lace here. I had a double purpose. For one, there was more messed up here, more ink that had spread because of the glue when I was putting this together. And two, because I wanted to cover up the little seam where this panel covered the spine. So that being said, where's my pockets? Here they are. So these are the pockets for the front and the back. Doesn't really matter which goes where because they're both the same size. I did not put gussets on them. I usually like to put gussets, but because this came from the fabric masterboard that I made, and I backed them again because some of these are going to be tags and I have one journaling card. I didn't put gussets. So I am going to decorate these a wee bit. And I've got some rickrack here. I debated about what I wanted to use, but I decided to use this rickrack for these pockets. And I do have some red, black, and white. So I'm going to put a strip of black on each pocket. And I'm going to do them pretty much the same. Some white. And see what we can get done here. Thank you all for coming to see me today. Whatever time it may be. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. For me, like I said, it's the end of the day for me. And my difficulties today were of my own making. I do not blame anybody or anything. They came from my own either error in judgment or something, but they weren't anybody's fault, that's for sure. Okay, so we got our 3 pieces. I think I'm gonna go black, white. Now I do have something, matter of fact, I finished one. I have to tie off all my strings, but this is a crocheted edge that I'm going to put on one of the pages, and I'm going to make another one, so there's like one in the front and one in the back, maybe about halfway through, I'm not sure. It'll go on here like this, just glue done. I'll kind of hang over the edge and give a nice little added texture. All right, and that is a very easy thing to do. If you know how to crochet at all. When I first learned to use needles, I learned how to crochet first, and I actually did teach myself. I think I've talked about this before. I am self-taught in a lot of areas, and I self-taught myself how to crochet. And I did it when I was younger. My oldest daughter was a baby. I crocheted a lot, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Because I enjoyed it so much, I attempted to teach myself how to knit. But if you knit and or crochet, then you know that knitting can be a little bit more difficult than crocheting. For one, you're dealing with 2 needles, and it takes some coordination. And I really, at that time, was convinced I didn't have the coordination to do it. So I started it, but I never really went too far in knitting because it just felt too complicated. And isn't it funny how sometimes things feel so complicated to us that we won't undertake them, and we miss out on a lot. So I kind of let the knitting drop for many years. But later, much later, when my youngest daughter was an adult and grown and, married and all that good stuff, she took up knitting and crocheting. She also taught herself, but she was an expert at knitting. And I think I've talked about her shop before that she had in the Bay Area. It was a beautiful yarn shop. And my husband and I was working full time. I was a nurse, and I was still working full time. And but I also helped out in the shop when I could. And my husband loved going to the shop till he just didn't feel like doing it anymore. He was the official. As a surprise for my daughter, for the shop, I purchased a electric ball winder, and there weren't very many shops, if any, that had an electric ball winder. all the skeins of yarn were pretty much, you could get them. I know that these are going to be crooked, but my head is a little bit wobbly tonight anyway, so I might not catch it right off. And all the other shops, the yarns were wound by hand, with a crank and what have you. But my husband loved to operate that skein winder, ball winder, and so that was his job when the shop first opened, was winding yarn for the ladies. And he really enjoyed it. Oh my gosh, those were such fun times. But my daughter created this beautiful yarn store, and I took up knitting again right about then. And the first thing I learned to knit were these little square puffs, and they were called, they were to make a what was that quilt called? A beekeeper's quilt or something like that. And I knit them like a crazy person. I had a basket full of them, and I still have most of them. The cats got into them and destroyed or scattered a few, but I loved the yarn that I knitted with. But that's all I made was these little puffs. You stuffed them with batting, and then we added lavender to them for the scent, and they're so cute. But I never did make the quilt, and I wanted to knit other things, so I started knitting, and I made myself some small, like, scarves, not like a winter scarf, but more like a fashion type thing, I don't know. And I finally graduated to other things. I actually ended up making several sweaters, knit several sweaters. So that's how I learned things. But it's funny, way back then I could have learned, and all those years I could have really been perfecting my technique. That's the long story short to say. We back away sometimes from things that seem too hard or too difficult. I've mentioned that before in relationship to this channel, that there's things that I wanted to try that I saw and that I liked, but they just appeared to be too difficult to me. And so I didn't do them. And now I'm learning to do those things, and they're not like difficult at all. So don't be afraid to try something new, you know. That's a mistake that I made back then, but I learned not to make it anymore. And I hope this rickrack, this is not cotton rickrack. This was purchased from Temu when I was still buying from them. I've probably had this rickrack for many, many months. And it's not cotton. I'm sure it's polyester. Everything is polyester. And I probably will have to go back and re-glue this, but we'll see. We'll see how it holds. I'm trying to avoid using the Fabri-Tac if I can. I have like many people, a love-hate relationship with it. And I'm finding that this PVA glue or Elmer's glue all, I believe the PVA and the Elmer's glue all are really about the same thing. Hold most everything quite well, even fabric. So I want to, before it's all said and done, I want to put some sort of a fussy cut in there, but I don't have a lot of fussy cuts, and I may have to take what I've got and print it out another time so I have another set and can reuse them in this folder. I mean, in this journal. This pocket seems to be just a little bit wider, or my lace is over a little bit farther. I'm not sure which, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work. But yeah, I felt so bad about those videos today, and I was about ready to give up. But I ate some dinner and I sat and relaxed for a little bit, and I said I'm gonna give this another shot. When I'm done with this journal, which I don't know how many more Fridays it'll take me. Probably at least 2, because like I said, I really don't want to be on here a long time tonight. I don't know what, I mean, I'll come up with something else, but it won't be Black and White Friday. We'll be doing something different. All right, so I do need to put some more pockets down in this. And I don't think I want that there, that's true. But I could put it on here. This is going to be busy regardless, I think. I don't think I really have a pain page. Maybe this one is not quite as busy. Or I could, these are my writing pages, but I suppose I could put it on the back of one of these. Maybe I could put it right here. I think I will. I probably should have made two of these, one for the front, one from the back, but I don't typically do that. I mean, I like the pockets to be balanced out as far as number goes, but I don't typically make, that's just the way I work, that's just my preference. Whoops, I almost did that upside down. No, I had it right. I almost really did it upside down. Okay, so I've got a pocket here. Now I need to put a pocket back here someplace. And these fabric pages, in the end, they went in a lot better than I expected them to. Okay, I do have my little pouch pocket that I could put in. I wanted to make one though that has the flap in it. I think it opens up a little better. But I suppose I could put a little piece of ribbon. How do I want to do this, guys? Well, I think I'm going to just stick this right here. This will go on this page. Okay. So now do I have any more of these fabric? For the most part, these are tags. This would be a really narrow pocket. Could even just make a tuck spot out of this. Okay, so let's go back. And we'll put this pocket right here. I do have a lot of extra strings from sewing it. These fabric masterboards were a lot of fun to do, and they're very useful as well. I mean, you can cut them up into tags and pockets just like you can the paper masterboards. There's really no difference at all. Okay, now what do I want to decorate this with? I feel like I want something across the top here, maybe a piece of ribbon. If I can get it open. I've got my thumbnail on my right hand all chewed up again, and I'm not exactly sure how to do it, but I have a feeling it had to do with the signature. I just cannot. Oh, I thought this was gross grain ribbon, but it's satin ribbon. I meant to get gross grain. Oh well. Put a piece across the front top of it. I was supposed to watch my granddaughter this morning. I was going to watch her before I started my video because my daughter had to go out today and make some of her calls on her patients. And my son-in-law wanted to go to the store to get some supplies for dinner today, so he asked me to watch her, which I was absolutely beyond thrilled to do. Well, I got that turned the wrong way. Absolutely thrilled to do it. But it ended up, I called him and told him, I said, you can bring her up anytime you want to. You don't have to wait. But he said, no, she was awake from her nap and she was very grumpy. And she was just bored, you know, so he decided that he was just going to take her to the store with him. And once she realized that she was going someplace, that he was going to take her someplace, she was just giddy. I could hear her on the phone. She was just so happy. She did the cutest thing. I think it was yesterday when my daughter was up here with her, and she was rolling back and forth kind of, you know, on the bed, and She hasn't got it down completely 100% yet because she gets her one arm stuck under her sometimes and she wants to get it out. She knows that it's got to come out, but she gets so mad when she can't do it. And it's like, girl, it's okay. But she wants to do it. She knows that, you know, when she wants to do something, she just is like, it's her one mission in life at that particular time is to do whatever it is. And she wanted to get back over on her back. So my daughter helped her out, helped get that arm out. She was on her tummy. She was happy until she rolled back over on her back. But my son-in-law came up to get her. And she started to put her arms out to be, you know, that she wants to be, she indicates that she wants to be picked up. Now again, mind you, she's only, well, she's going to be 6 months in a few days, but remember she's a month early, 5 weeks early. So that does make a difference in their development and in their, how they reach their developmental milestones. So she's kind of ahead of the game. And when I saw her, she actually lifted herself, put her arms out, and arched her back because she wanted her daddy to pick her up. Well, he decided not to pick her up at that particular moment and take her downstairs, and he left the room. And she just, her heart was broken. Her heart was absolutely broken because her daddy did not pick her up when she wanted him to. Oh my gosh, she's such a stitch. And today when the paper monkey left that comment and on one of my videos, she said something about she could tell how much joy that this little one brings to me. And believe me, she does. She brings me so much joy. She fills me with so much happiness, you know. I can't even begin to really describe it. I know I'm going to put other things on here to embellish these pockets, but for now I just kind of want to get them placed so I can see where I'm at with everything. Let's see, I could put this here as a tuck spot, which I think I'll do. I kind of like it this way because then things don't fall out necessarily. But I want to put something on there. I don't want to put a piece of lace across Minnie's ears. How about a piece of red rickrack? That looks kind of nice. I'm still wanting to do the video about supplies, you know, what I feel I just cannot work without and what I started with. For those that may be new to junk journaling or are thinking about giving it a try and haven't done it yet. Because I definitely have supplies that I do not need even to this day. And I have supplies that I really depend on a lot. And I think it's nice if we share those kind of things with each other. I've said before that you could probably watch a half dozen, if not more, creators with a similar video, and they would all so I want this like this. They could all give you a probably a slightly different list. Yeah, some things would be the same, but some things would be different. And it gives you a bit more perspective, I think. Okay, so this is going to be a tuck spot. Oh, I think the rest of these are pretty much, I'm going to make tags out of most of these. As of late, I have not, this is going to be a journaling card. As of late, I don't make a lot of tags. And I may have enough here. This is not going to be a very big or fat journal. Okay. So what else have I got here? I've got this, but I don't know where I want to put it just yet. I'm making another one, like I said, so I'll have one in the front and one on the back. These, here's another little black and white pocket pouch I made too. I have to decide which one I want to use. I've got an envelope I made to put ephemera in, but since there's not a lot of ephemera, I guess I need to save it to actually put into the pocket. So we'll just see how that goes. I don't want that pocket yet, but I can put these in. This is going to be a fold out, a tip out. It's just a, I found some old coloring books. That were all black and white drawings and sayings. This one is, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So this is going to be a, it's kind of like a, instead of a trifolds that I usually make a bifold. So this needs to go in someplace. And where do we want to put it? Go right here. And now I probably could do some stamping on the back of this, or some stenciling, I mean to say. Or not. I've got such a mess going. What did I do with that black set? Here it is. I like these little daubers. I'm not sure where I got these. But I used them today when I was doing some stenciling, and I really like them. I have to figure out where I got them. I probably got them from Temu, and I probably have had them for a while. That's why I can't remember where I got them from. But I do really like them. I'm going to have to try to get some more of these. I'm just inking this up a little bit more than I want to, I guess. Maybe I could ink this up a little bit. Let me just run and get my other stencil. Good boy, Canal, you be a good boy. Oh, that's the other thing today. My dogs were just being awful little critters. And they just would not, they were people, what I said in the first video, one of the videos that I made today is, we live in a neighborhood where people are always working on their yards or their house or whatever. And it seems like the neighbor across the street, who, I mean, it was a beautiful home, is always doing something. And it sounded like he was having some tree work done, some trees taken down. And it was so noisy, and my dogs just could hardly stand it. Which I understand, in a case like this, I do understand it. They were just beside themselves. Because they weren't happy with all the noise and all that goes along with that. And they just wouldn't be, you know, they just were not going to quiet down. And I stopped and started and stopped and started the video. Can't even tell you how many times. So that was kind of wearing on me. And I couldn't really get mad at them. I mean, I know there's got to be some dogs that would never bark at that kind of noise. They would just ignore it. And there used to be a lot of other noises that would get them barking, but they've learned to just live with them. Okay, that's good enough. And this will need to be cleaned off again. Okay. It's got a little stenciling there. And I've got this here as my hinge. I love to use fabric hinges. I really do like to use fabric in my journals whenever I can, whenever it's possible. Because I love it, for one thing. And I think it really does add a nice touch. So this really doesn't need to be quite this wide. I think I'm going to cut it just about in half, or tear it in half would be better. So yeah, I didn't get to see my little granddaughter today. My daughter was out for a long time today, and I'm sure she was so happy. I know she was tired before she started, but I'm sure she missed her so much and was so anxious to spend her time with her. I didn't even ask for her to bring her upstairs. I know if it would have been me, I would have wanted her to myself as her mother, you know. I remember when I worked and my kids were little. I remember how it was. Okay, so I think I am going to use fabric tack on this. Oh my gosh, look at this mess, will ya? I haven't used this in a while. This stuff like turns to plastic or rubber. Oh my goodness sakes. It's like a piece of silly putty or something. Well, maybe I won't use it. Maybe I'm just going to go for my we're going to put this. Hello. So my dogs are all up here right now, all three of them. And they're all behaving themselves and being good little pooches. When I'm done here, I will sit with them for a while. Well, the one in particular, he's the one that likes to sit with me. My big barker. Like I said, he just waits for me to sit down. He watches me. And he sees when I'm headed for the chair. He's ready. He's ready to jump right up there. It's so cute. But typically, he doesn't stay that long. He wants to sit with me for a while, and sometimes he'll even fall asleep, take a nap. But he doesn't stay up there as long as I would expect him to. Okay, so we've got that there. This is a tip in. I need to let this dry before I mess around with it. And then I suppose this could go into a pocket, which it probably will do. So I put that there. Where did I put that little pouch, pocket pouch? Oh, back here. Okay. So, I've got, how many pockets is that? That's 1, 2. I think I've only got 4 pockets in here. Technically, this is a pocket and a tuck spot 4. Okay, I think we need to add some more. I did print out some cardstock that I could use to make some pockets. Alright. What kind of a pocket do I want to make? Could get out my die cutter and cut out some pockets, but it's getting kind of late to do that. Well, maybe I'll just make a okay, it's time for me to clean my desk off again. I don't know if I'll do that tonight or tomorrow. I'm just trying to think what I want to do here. I really would like to make okay, so how did I do that? I think I just cut off some for the height. I need a different. Oh, if only you could see my desk. It's such a disaster. I say that about every other day. But it's when I'm actually working on a journal that the desk becomes the worst. Oh, this really should be double-sided. This kind of makes my head spin a little bit. I need to cut off the edges on this. I hate to get out my big cutter, but I think I'm going to need to. This is too long to put in here, and in my little guillotine. So I don't think I have a choice. Okay. Cut off this white border here. I've been trying to use my computer more and more to be printing from and so forth because I get better results when I do that. So maybe I want to make this about 6 inches tall. And this is going to be a piece of ephemera that I showed you on one of my videos where I introduced a new piece of ephemera. Okay, so this is going to fold like this. I don't think the dimensions really matter so much. And then this is going to fold in half. This is going to be a page wraparound. And this is going to be a tuck on this side with a window. And then this is going to fold open and have little pockets on here. And some writing space. Not that there's not plenty of writing space already in this journal, but okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is round all these corners. This particular pattern gives me a little bit of a not exactly a headache, but I like this pattern, but it does make my head spin a little bit. Oh dear, what do I do with my little spoon? I'm still adding thread to my science experiment. And I haven't decided when or if I will use it. Or how long I'll even keep it, I don't know. Alright. So I need to put a window in here, and this is going to have a notch in it. I'll ink this one. I love using this. It's really an envelope notch, but I like using it for my pocket notches. I just like the shape of it. Tomorrow, which will be your Saturday, I think I'm going to be making, I need to make some paper clips. I need to make some paper clips, and I'm trying to, I'm sure it's probably been done by somebody somewhere, but I'm trying to make, I want to try to get this centered here as best I can. I'd like to try to make some circle paper clips, hidden paper clips. And I think I've just about got it figured out how I want to do it. Like I said, I'm sure somebody has done it. I've seen some circle paper clips where all they did was just kind of attach the paper clip to the back side of a circle. But I want to make an actual hidden paper clip. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know, really inking this black and white paper if it makes that big of a difference, but I'm doing it anyway. Oh, my poor little sweetheart. I guess just because well, that's got to be glued down or face down. That doesn't need to be inked. Yeah, it's a heavy sigh. I'm tired. Oh, my battery is going to die in the next few minutes because it's been an hour. So I'm going to get off of here. So this is going to be a wraparound, and I will put I will probably glue it just down here and maybe a little bit on the fold, and put some acetate behind this, and then a picture of some sort, and then this part will be two little pockets. Two pockets will be here, and some writing space. Like I said, not that there's a shortage of writing space in this journal. So what we've accomplished, we got these pockets glued in and started decorating them. Got my round pocket. We've got a Mickey pocket right here. This flip out or tip out or tip in, whatever you want to call it. And I've made this, almost made it. It needs to be finished. And we've got our pocket pouch, a place for that. It needs to be decorated before I glue it down. We've got a little mini tuck spot. And that's in our back pocket. And that's it for tonight. So thank you for watching. Be blessed no matter what time of the day it is you're watching, morning, noon, or night. I pray for each one of you before I make my videos in the morning. And I just want you to be blessed. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and or subscribe. Leave me a comment so I can give you a shout out. And become a interactive part of this channel. That would mean so much to me. And YouTube does look for those kinds of things when they're trying to figure out how much who they show my videos to. So in order for my videos to start being shown to more people, it's nice if you could give me a thumbs up or